Hello again, everybody. This is Pastor Ben Miller from Bumpville Bible Church, and I'm here to introduce a new short video series that we'll be doing. That'll be about 11 videos long, this being the first one, and this is just really an introductory video. So I encourage you all already, as I do a little housekeeping, to subscribe, click the notification button so that you're notified about these new videos that will be coming out here in the next couple weeks. And the title of this video series is a biblical look at socialism and the Communist Manifesto. And that's what we're going to be looking at. We're just going to kind of look and see how both socialism and particularly Marx's theories, as he and Engels laid out in the Communist Manifesto, how they mash or how they either how they go together or how they do not flow with biblical thought and scripture. And so that's what we're really going to look at here in the next couple videos. Really excited about it. What I do think, as Americans, we have the election going on right now, that we really, these are some things that we really should know. We should know what Marxism is. We should know what the Communist Manifesto says. I mean, there's a lot of politicians who may not call themselves socialists and may go out of their way to claim they're not socialist, but then when you look at their policies, they a lot of times look like they are very socialist. And so how can we tell if the policies are socialist or they're telling the truth? Well, you have to know what socialism is. You have to know what Marx meant, what he was trying to push. We hear, particularly like within the Black Lives Matter movement, we right now, you have some of their founders saying they are trained Marxist. So what does that mean? What does that say for their agenda that they're trying to push forward? And how does that align up with Scripture? Is that something we can get behind as Christians? Or do we have to really say no to pretty much anything that comes from a Marxist ideology? After all, it was Karl Marx who said that religion is the opioid of the people. And when he said that, everybody pretty well understood that he was speaking in particularly about the Christian religion. Not just religions as a whole, but particularly the Christian religion. And so, did he really have this idea that Christianity has to go in order for me to bring in my ideas so that we can have a much better society? That Christianity is what's getting in the way of a successful society. So, those are things we're going to examine. Those are things we are going to look at. And I do believe that we really not just know what Marxism is, but we should really know what Scripture says, particularly the Ten Commandments, and the United States Bill of Rights being the first 10 amendments. And that's what I want to do with the rest of this video here. I know it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I think we really need to know these things. So I'm just going to read down through Marx's platform as he laid it out in the book. They're just really quick 10 points that he has that everything kind of comes together to. And those are really the 10 things we'll focus on in these videos. As each video will be focused around one of those. And then I'm also going to read the 10 Commandments in the United States Bill of Rights, because I think those are things that we should know. And we should understand how they interact with each other, whether or not they complement each other, or whether or not one really stands in opposition to the rest. And that the ideas, that's really the question I think I'm really going to look at is, can the biblical ideas, as well as the United States Bill of Rights and Marx's 10 platforms, do they flow with each other? Do they connect? Do they support each other? Or are they in stark opposition against each other, and they're two totally different worldviews vying for dominance? And when one takes control, then the others fall away. And that's what we're going to look at here in the next few videos. But with that, for the rest of the day, it's just so we get an idea of the ideas we're dealing with. And right here I have my own copy of the Communist Manifesto that I'll be reading right from it, okay, to get their words exactly. So here we go. So Frederic Engels and Karl Marx in their Communist Manifesto, they lay out these 10 things. 1. Abolition of property in land and application of all rents of land to public purposes. 2. A heavy progressive or graduated income tax. 3. The abolition of all right of inheritance. 4. Confiscation of the property of all immigrants and rebels. 5. Centralization of credit in the hands of the state. by means of a national bank with state capital and exclusive monopoly. 6. Centralization of the means of communication and transport in the hands of the state. 7. Extensions of factories and instruments of production owned by the state, the bringing into cultivation of wastelands and the improvement of the soil generally in accordance with the common plan. 8. Equal liability of all to labor, establishment of industrial armies, especially for agriculture. 9. Combination of agriculture with manufacturing industries, gradual abolishment of the distinction between town and country by a more equal distribution of the population over the country. And 10. Free education for all children in public schools, abolition of children's factories, labor in its present form, combination of education with industrial production. All right, so there's Marx's 10 points. Now let's look at Scripture and really God's 10 points. And I'll be reading from Exodus chapter 20, and just starting right off with verse 1. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourselves carved images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers to the children of the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God has given you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor. Let him who has ears to hear what the Spirit has to say. And now for the United States, Bill of Rights. First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Second Amendment. A well-regulated military being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Third Amendment. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in the manner to be prescribed by law. Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizure shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath of affirmation in a particular describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crimes unless, on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in the case arising in the land or naval forces or in the military, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. The Sixth Amendment. All criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously asserted by law, and to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation, to be confronted with witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. The Seventh Amendment. In suits at common law where the value controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact trial by a jury shall be otherwise examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. The Eighth Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Ninth Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. The 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So I hope you're as excited as you are as excited as I am to jump in on this endeavor and to really look in to these ideas and how they intertwine and how they oppose each other. And so till our next video, I'm Pastor Ben Meller. Live long and prosper.